Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Talk with Brohawk. And as I come out of my announcer voice, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to my guest today, Amin Salahuddin. And Amin, thank you very much for being a guest on today's episode of Coffee Talk. And can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what you're up to these days?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Amin Salahuddin, and thank you, Mark Brody, for having me on your show. It's an honor and really appreciate it. That we also had a conversation earlier as well of being on this show and giving insights about my journey and how I become an entrepreneur. So your question was about myself and what I am. Like, I'm a local entrepreneur. I started my tech company here in Round Rock in 2010, and I've been running that company since then. It's been over 13 years and built many clients now in the government sector, in the state, in the federal sector, uh, large contracts and mainly bidding on IT contracts. So that's what I do for a living. I run a tech company. And other than that, I give back to the community. I was a past board member of Round Rock Police Foundation.
Okay.
I was a past board member of Round Rock Chamber of Commerce. I sat on the board for almost 6 years for the Round Rock Chamber and the Police Foundation for about 4 years. I'm a investor of the year for Round Rock Chamber, announced in 2016. I'm a leadership Round Rock alumni. I graduated in 2016, understanding the local civic engagement and understanding Round Rock and the local region from a county and then the state perspective. So that's what I did. And also I sit on the Round Rock Rotary Club as a
Okay.
member. So I enjoy, giving back to the community through Round Rock Rotary Club. And I also give back. I founded a nonprofit charity clinic back in 2012. The project I started in 2012 for giving back to the community when Texas opted out of Medicaid expansion, and
Okay.
looking at the gaps. How do we bridge those gaps to get at least primary preventative health care to those who don't have health insurance? So I started a nonprofit project. It was formed as a 501(c)(3) in 2014. And since then, the nonprofit grew to 13 free clinics. Most of them are here
Wow.
in local Central Texas area.
Okay.
But I couldn't continue and being on the board. There were many conflicts. So I had to resign. So I had to resign, I think about 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I support the nonprofit work, doesn't matter whichever nonprofit it is. And I also help the United Way. I sit on their investor council, looking at how the grants, how the United Way give out the grants. So,
Hmm.
being more involved in the local community, it makes me that I belong in this region. So
I
that's
well,
that's about me in a nutshell.
I mean, I'll tell you, you and I met through the United Way here in the Greater Austin area, and the conversations that we've had have been just very enlightening for me. I mean, you've done. I mean, you shared with me some of the stuff that you've been involved with, but I mean the over time, I mean it's not just a one-off for you. It's a commitment, like you said, a commitment to the community. I think that's awesome. um you know, you've had an amazing professional journey as well. And I'm almost wondering, some of your commitments back to the community. How did those grow out of the foundational roots that you have as a business owner? I mean, is there a correlation between the two?
So, whenever someone does something,
Hmm.
there's always a purpose or
Yeah.
why are they doing it, right?
Uh-huh.
So for individual, if you can identify why are you
Hmm.
doing that, right? So for me, being an entrepreneur, I am an entrepreneur. Many of us are forced based on the circumstances that we are in, and then we become an entrepreneur. Sometimes life takes us to that direction. Uh,
Hmm.
Many people become an entrepreneur just because they didn't like their boss,
Yeah.
uh, or they were forced out of, they got a pink slip and they
Hmm.
no longer have a job, and it's hard for them to find another job. So they started a business route.
Hmm.
For so that there's always a why, but not for someone when they don't like a boss and they quit and they start their business, all of a sudden they got another offer and they like a boss, so they quit their
Hmm.
job and they go back because their why was just, it was a temporary why. For me,
Yes.
my foundational root was my background. I shared that with you, and you asked me to share with your audience, your
Yes.
listeners.
Please.
So for me, why I become an entrepreneur is because back when I was 7 years old, I was hit by a car,
Hmm.
and at that time, the doctors told my parents that I won't survive. So do the funeral proceedings. And for me, at 7 year old, I didn't know what was going on, and I was unconscious uh, at that time. And my grave was dug, and the next day, the life support was supposed to be, like, life support was going to be removed, and here you go. But when they removed the life support, I survived. And when I was being released from the hospital, the nurse told me that God has a purpose for you in life. I think the words of that nurse stayed in my mind forever. It's
Yeah.
also, how you comfort
Hmm.
someone in that time as well, and what you say. So those words were there for me, and I always wondered what is the purpose of my life. And
Uh-huh.
then right there, I said, maybe it's to help people. But the other thing comes in, if you don't have anything, what are you gonna give? So for me, that I told myself that, and my parents, that I'm gonna become an entrepreneur.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be super rich, and then I'm gonna help people, right? I'm gonna do nonprofit work. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and that was my whole why I wanted to become an entrepreneur. But I will tell you that this journey was not easy. It's easy
Yeah.
said than done. uh,
Hmm.
I did embark on launching my first business through help of my parents when I was uh, I was 11 years old, um, and I went into that. Hey, help me with this business idea, and obviously it didn't work out. I think I was too young. I tried it again when I was in high school. I
Uh-huh.
saved money, and I launched my on my own. I launched my first business after high school, and
Hmm.
again, it didn't. It was not a successful startup, and I had lost the money that I saved. And
Hmm.
then I went back to the college. But the reason why I'm telling you is because of my why. Why was very strong, that I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So I kept on
Yes.
trying one after another. So I went to college, and I uh, saved money during my college, and then I launched a second business, and that also failed. And you know, there is a lot of things that happened. I got married during that time, and my wife said that, just forget it. Purpose of your life, you tried two times, and let's move on, because we suffer as a family, right? Because
Yeah.
the focus goes on the business and the startup phase. It's about 2 years, 3 years, and you're in that phase, and it's hard.
Mhm.
So yes, I think it was a good decision to get back into the job market
Yeah.
for after my second business failed. And then I had an opportunity to get back into, wearing the business hat on, and I tried for the third time. And the third business also almost failed.
Uh-huh.
That, for me, it was very hard to afford myself and my family. By that time, I had two children, and
Mhm.
we moved to Austin. And but the time I was about to give up, and that time, a friend of mine called, and I told him the story. I said, I'm about to land on a contract, but
Mhm.
it's a 2-year cycle for the
Yeah.
business that I'm bidding on, and it's not easy. But I know this stuff very well, and um, right after I received some money from my friend, and I landed on a contract a week after that, and
That's
that's
awesome.
it. And that was history, and everything changed since then. And I started to what my passion was, what was my why,
Uh-huh.
why I'm doing it, building a business, wanted to become an entrepreneur. It was to give back, and that's where I launched the nonprofit. So for me, those are the roots that I remember. And like, I know it's a very long answer, but having your purpose and why are you doing it, if you are affirmed, you have to move forward, right? It's through building resiliency, and
Yeah.
that's how you will achieve your goal.
I mean, going back to the time that you were 7, you know, obviously you were unconscious during that time, after your accident, but to find out um, that your parents were told that they had to, you know, dig your grave for you, so to speak, and for you to be able to survive your accident, and that's absolutely amazing, and the nurse was 100% spot on, obviously, that your life had a purpose that was unfulfilled, and whether you're a person of faith or not, uh, you know, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And I would, in my interactions with you, I mean, I definitely would agree that you still have purpose that has not yet been fulfilled. You've done some amazing work here in the Round Rock community, and absolutely. Um, have enjoyed getting to know you for sure. Um, you know, the importance of giving back to your community as a small business owner. This is something we chatted about, just recently. Um, I mean, why is it so important for small businesses, especially, to become a I don't know if pillar is the right word, or become involved, active in their local community? Why is it so important for business owners to be involved?
So it is very important so I look for local talent.
Uh-huh.
Uh, And it's important for a small business to find talent locally. And
Mm-hmm.
so you need to nurture,
Yeah.
this say, depending on what is the area that you are in. I'm in the technology industry. So
Yeah.
I had to partner with Round Rock ISD on their
Mm-hmm.
externship program, where you take one or two teachers, and then you walk them through what is the current technology, what are the
Mm-hmm.
real life challenges, and then they go back and then they incorporate in their curriculum or their practical knowledge that they apply
Mm-hmm.
to upbring the students. So, for us, it is important to mentor basically the local students to
Yes.
become the future of those resources that we tap into. And important thing. Like there are other local cities around here, different other states. They
Uh,
are doing their own work. No
yep.
city, like say, city of Austin is not working to build a talent pool in Round Rock or Cedar Park or Berkshire Creek. We have to do it for ourselves. And that is where we belong, right? This is our sense of belonging. We need to
Mm-hmm.
do local work, like say, for instance, you see signs out there, adopt a park.
Uh-huh.
Who's going to adopt your park, right? You have to adopt your park. You have to
Yes.
give back and build your community, right? You have to, like Citizens Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that program for? Is for you, for your local, to build that relationship with your local police. Like so there are many things that you have to work in your locality. There are many food pantries, that
Mm-hmm.
needs help. You have to go back and give back, like United Way, another example. There's a lot of things, or
Yes.
everything is local, right? So you have to do things local. Like there is a Round Rock Serving Center,
Mm-hmm.
any nonprofit organization, including the one that I founded, which is Access Healthcare System. And it is all focused on local. How do you partner with your local faith-based organization? Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter which faith it is. You partner
Yep.
with them, and because your main goal is to serve the underserved, you're serving the community. So you always serve local, build local and grow local. So that is what my philosophy is, that you are building your local talent. You're
Yeah.
making your local environment, and
Mm-hmm.
and this is where your children are going to grow up as well. That is your environment, that is your culture, that you are when you give back, you're building that culture.
Yes.
And that's the importance of giving back and working locally. That's how you build a community.
I mean, I love the fact that um, as part of your model and your philosophy that you've engaged with the local school district here to foster, hey, you know, there's opportunities out there for you that you may not. And for a college student, there may be opportunities for high school students uh, that they don't even realize are available to them. And by getting them engaged with business owners locally, um, there's that opens up a lot of doors for people that they may not have realized were even able to be opened. Uh, so hats off to you and being involved in those types of partnerships. Um, have you had very many people stick with you after high school after they finish their externship?
So those are the teachers that come
Okay. Yeah.
to us, and then they apply the real world, what is actually happening out there, and
Okay.
then they teach the students. So it's
Yeah.
not
Okay.
the students who,
Uh-huh.
this is a slightly different program that they had back in, I'm talking about in 2017,
Okay.
2018. That's when I partnered with
Yeah.
the Round Rock ISD.
Yeah.
It might have changed
Hmm.
since then. And also in the Pflugerville, actually in the Leander ISD. So they actually had me come on their student panel to become a mentor for their entrepreneurship program for the
Yes.
students. So just because they have a business major and they
Yeah.
need some a business owner who's been in business for 10 years plus, who
Uh-huh.
can advise the startup entrepreneurs who are thinking about launching a business. So it's a pre-incubation stage,
Uh-huh.
that their idea initiation stage, and then when you can tell them, you know, the path that they should take. So that's a
Yes.
very early you know, model. But I have heard that those students are now going into the business. They have an idea that they developed.
That is awesome. I remember, way back when, when I was in high school, the goal was to go ahead and just complete your credits so that you can go on and do something different. But I love the fact that communities are realizing that entrepreneurship is a real uh, pathway, career path, and fostering, what it means to be an entrepreneur, what it means to be a business owner, and what it means to give back to the communities, and to see it in action is so critical these days.
It's small business owners are America's economic backbone, and
Hmm.
we need to
Yeah.
constantly promote more entrepreneurship. That's where, you know, if you go every city, there is a chamber of commerce.
Hmm.
And you
Yep.
know, that's that's the that's the key thing for our American, you know, America is a capitalist economy, you know,
Yes.
and it's and that's all of it surrounding, you know, entrepreneurship, you know,
Hmm.
innovation, ideas, and that's where who we are, right? We are the
Yeah.
idea nation,
Uh-huh.
you know, and we execute those ideas, and
Yes.
so that's who we are.
I love it. I love it. I mean, we're getting to the point where we're getting to the speed round of this conversation. Are you ready for some fast and furious questions here?
Sure.
All right. I don't know how fast or furious they'll be, um, so the first question I have for you is going back in time and when you were first starting off in your career. And if you were to tell your younger self one thing, uh, you know, for instance, you wish you can go back in time and tell your younger self what, um, and how would it have helped you navigate in your career thus far?
Well, you made me laugh, smile, and you know, think back. Yes, obviously, at that age,
Uh-huh.
when I wanted to become an entrepreneur,
Uh-huh.
if I had known that, you know, I should have gone and found a mentor or an advisor,
Yes.
I would do that. So, you know, I lost my first business.
Uh-huh.
I did learn a big lesson. I
Uh-huh.
don't think any book would have taught me that lesson.
Hmm.
But was it worth learning with losing that much money, right? So if I had, if someone would have advised me that, and if their advice have went through my understanding at that time, you know, but
Yes.
it's hard, right? For a teenager, how do you work with the teenager? So that's my time. So if there are teenagers or early college, you
Yep.
know, students who are listening to this conversation, I would recommend them that, you know, have a mentor or an advisor. If you are going into the
Uh-huh.
entrepreneurial route, then find uh, a business owner
Hmm.
who can be your mentor,
Right.
or join a chamber and find
Hmm.
some like-minded people there and work with them. So always find an advisor. There are many business advisors out there as well.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and that's my thing. I would do that.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, it's from a personal development, it's always important that I've found to have your personal or professional board of directors, um, that's like your inner circle that can really help guide you, from for making to make good decisions, or hopefully not make bad decisions. And you know, I love the idea of getting a mentor early, to really
And I
explore,
think,
because
people will hesitate on getting a mentor,
uh-huh,
those people who have, I'm better, if
uh-huh.
that's their attitude, I know everything, and then it's hard for them to get a mentor. So that's arrogance, right? So I
Yes.
would I would say, if that is the mindset, that if someone has, just give up, right?
Yep.
Yeah, nobody has all the answers. So
Yes.
you always need advisors.
It's funny. I mean, I was having that conversation with my daughter. Uh, she's 5 years old, and we were going to school. She's like, I don't want to go to school. I know everything. I'm like, really? Because I learned something new from you every day. She looked at me. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you taught me yesterday how much 2 plus 2 is. She's like, yeah, it's 4. And I'm like, well, I didn't know that. And so even though you may think you know things, there
Mhm,
may be a different way of learning and understanding, and you know imparting that on younger generations is so important. you know
mhm.
and so now I get taught something new every day, from kindergarten. So um so what fact about Amin would people be surprised to learn about you?
So doing so many things.
Uh-huh.
Many people ask me, how can you manage all those things?
Yeah.
And as you know, that we sit on the United Way
Yep.
Investment Council, and I go attend Round Rock, um, finance committee meetings. I do the nonprofit work, and
Yes.
giving back to the community. And now, in fact, I am, with the small business policies and other. I'm interested in running for office as well. So
Excellent.
all those things are, so that might be, that might be the answer, that people, what is it, something that people would be surprised to learn about me, with doing
Mm.
all that, adding another thing. But
Uh-huh.
the main thing is about time management.
Yes.
What are your priorities in
Hmm.
life? And I'm married. I have 3 daughters, happily married.
Yep.
And giving time to your family as well, to your successful business, and
Yep.
giving back to the community. There are many things that I am involved in. And the main thing is that, how do I manage time? And in managing the time, I look at the priorities that affects my business and my family and my lifestyle. So I
Yep.
take that as a priority, and then if it is not, then I delegate those tasks. So
Mhm.
if we all understand that what are important for us and what we can delegate, and how we
Okay.
can manage our time, and we can do a lot of things. We can build a beautiful community.
Yes.
And that's, so the surprising thing is that, hey, I'm running in politics. I'm running for office to make a change, further give back to
Yes.
the community.
I mean, that's like leveling up to the nth degree, especially in our culture now, hypercharged beliefs either on one side or the other side. So that's off to you, for throwing your hat in the ring, so to speak.
Yes,
Yeah.
and good thing you brought going like either extreme. As a business owner,
Yeah.
as a parent,
Hmm.
I don't, you can't take to an extreme with your own children.
Yes.
We know if we take to an extreme, children will rebel against us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not only children, it's your community as well, right?
Yep.
No one likes either extreme. So
Hmm.
we have to learn how to pick the middle path. And that is what that's what motivated me as well.
Hmm.
That, I'm an immigrant, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a parent, of three daughters. And, and I see a lot of extremism going on, right? And how
Hmm.
do I step in and how do I neutralize that? And how do I make sense out of things?
Yes.
Just how we raise our family. Let's raise a community.
Yep.
Think about everyone that you have to bring justice to everyone, right?
Hmm.
And that is true. You can't make everyone happy. Uh,
Exactly.
right. But like, how do you mitigate that, right? How do you say, let's think about everyone at the same time, because it's not only my way,
Yep.
and let's consider everyone in every decision. So that's what I wanted to, step up and give back, bring uh, my way of thinking,
Uh-huh.
of solving a problem. Everyone has different ways, different
Yes.
approach of solving a problem. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, I might be, my answer might not, you might not agree with it, but my justification might, right? That why
Hmm.
I'm coming to that conclusion,
Yep.
and can make an explanation to that. Right now hey, a pack decided, the politician have to follow. Hey, you don't have to listen to your constituents. And so that's
Yeah.
not the way America was built. It was for the people and by the people.
Yes.
So that's, if we stick to that, then that's what I'm hoping to achieve.
I love it. I mean, and like I said, I mean, um, it takes a special person, um, to throw your hat in the ring and say, I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem, and
That's
then
right.
also be successful at it. So, um, in my lifetime, I've had the privilege of seeing a lot of people be very successful, going down that road. So, definitely, wish you all the luck, as you go down this journey. And you're right. I don't know that anybody would have expected that. Throwing your hat in the political ring, because you're doing so much in the community. Uh, I know that you were just recently nominated also for, I believe it was Citizen of the Year here in Round Rock.
Yes, I was nominated. So the chamber nominates three candidates for each
Uh-huh.
category. And
Yeah.
from among that, they have a different process. They look at the
Hmm.
involvement in the community longer.
Hmm.
So I was not the final nominee,
Yeah.
uh, but I'm honored to be nominated for being Citizen of the Year. It's a great honor
Yeah.
to
To be to be
be
even
considered.
Oh yeah, I mean, for the community, for people in the community to recognize what you've given back to the community,
Yes,
um, not just in a one-off, but just over your career and over your lifetime and living in the Round Rock community. I mean, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty
yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So after a stressful day, what's your go-to tactic for just winding down? You're just like, I'm gonna wind down. What's your go-to tactic for doing that?
So when I come home, I I want to make sure that I'm not attending the phones.
Yes.
And you need to separate work from life, right?
Yep.
So it's a work-life balance. When I go home, the first thing or for theory of life is happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
This is you need to give time to the family. You have to see that everyone is out there, either
Yes.
working or doing the chores or school, and we are all coming back with stress from our own work, our own workload. And when you come home, you need to make sure you neutralize everything. Don't bring the baggage that you were carrying, and during the day, let's relax. So if that is the mindset that you can communicate with the family, that is how you can release all the stress
Be
from the,
intentionally
yeah,
present.
yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how would you like to be most remembered? After your days on Earth are no longer, how do you want people to remember you?
So how do I want people to remember me? I wrote a book.
Uh-huh.
I wrote a book. I'm
Yes.
sure you have read it.
Yeah.
It's called Give First, Take
Hmm.
Last. It's four
Yep.
words, but it has a depth of insights that how can you live a successful life, right?
Mhm.
And it is through giving.
Yes.
So when you give, don't be the last person to give, be the first person to give, and be the last person to take advantage. And plus, your giving should not have strings attached. If you can give
Yes.
in that way, that's it. Yeah. So I want people to remember me with the message of that, give first, take last, and continue with that without any expecting returns on it. That will
Yes.
actually help you start thinking positive, because when you are giving,
Hmm.
you are not thinking negative. it
Yep.
it it negates all the negative thoughts that you have, are
Hmm.
developing. Giving is very important, that starts to build positive in you, because when you
Yes.
are giving, you're happy. You want to give more, and you are changing yourself. So that's an investment that you need to do in yourself. When you give, you invest in yourself, in your spiritual well-being, right?
Hmm.
And that is what I want people to remember.
I love it. I love it. If you never want to be known as that transactional person
That's
that,
right.
don't be transactional. Be authentic, be who you want others to remember you by. I love that. I love that. Give first, take last. Um, and it's a great book, by the way. So,
Thank you.
so if someone wants to pick your brain, um, learn how they become more active in their community. They're having a business challenge that they're just struggling with, and just want to pick your brain on how they can um, turn things around or improve or look at things a little bit differently. What's the best way for people to get in contact with you, aside from
Well,
me making
that's
an introduction to you?
that is one way. Yeah,
Yeah.
if your audience have direct contact with you when they're listening
Uh-huh.
to your show,
Yep.
and obviously you are on each show, you have different individual coming,
Hmm.
but you share your contact information, and that's one way. The other way is they can directly reach out to me,
Okay.
and my email is my first name, last name at gmail.com. So it's
Okay.
Amin Salahuddin at gmail.com. That's my personal email.
Okay.
and just don't make it a spam email that, it goes to the spam filter. And
Yes.
but if you just be very authentic in your email as well,
Yes.
and it won't go to a spam, and I will just see it right there. So that is the
Awesome.
best way to contact me.
Excellent. Excellent. I mean,
And
I
I'm
cannot
there
thank.
to
Oh,
help,
go
and
ahead.
I'm there to help any small business owner. This is why I am running for office as well, is to promote small business owners, to support them in their policies, right? The policies that
Yes.
our government is making. And for anyone who is looking to start a business, and I'm more than welcome to advise, or you can pick my brain. I'm here,
Yes.
I'm available.
I love it, and I love the fact that you continually give back to the community. I mean, and a part of that is giving of your time this afternoon to have this conversation with me, and I really appreciate it. Very humbled by the time that we've spoken today, but also anytime I reach out to you, you're like, yeah, let's go grab coffee, or let's talk, and I'm very appreciative of that. I mean, you put into practice what you preach, so to speak. So.
Thank you, Mark. And
Yeah,
again,
thank
I
you.
really appreciate you having me on your talk show
Yeah,
to talk about my journey, what I'm up to these days, and the personal advice that I can give, that I can share with other
yes,
entrepreneurs in building resiliency, and keep on trying, having your knowing what is your purpose and why are you
yes.
doing it. So um, again, really appreciate that. It's an honor, and I'm privileged to be here today.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, and I can't wait for our next coffee.
Okay,
That's the benefit of being local with one another. We can actually meet with each other face to face. So,
definitely,
uh,
yeah.
I mean, thank you so much. If you're watching this episode, you like what you're seeing, you want to talk to Amin, reach out to me. I'll make an introduction. Reach out to Amin directly through his Gmail, Salahuddin at gmail.com. Is that
There
correct?
is no dot. It's
Oh,
Amin Salahuddin at gmail.com.
Amin Salahuddin at gmail.com. Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, Amin, thank you very much, and you have yourself a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye all.